This is Diary of a Mad Snowman, A Journey into Discovery. Chapter 3. Are men allowed to rest? How much stuff can a man do during the day, during the night, or both? How many things can a man accomplish in a 24-hour period, or in some cases during an 8-hour period? How many things can a man do to finally feel like he's accomplished something? We don't know. I don't know if you can put a number on that. You can't put a number on that. I've heard I've had some women in my life say to me, "You can't put a price on what I do." Well, shouldn't the reverse of that be true also? Because you can't put a price on what men do to keep their families happy, keep their wife and their children happy, and to keep themselves happy. You know how tough that is? You know how unfair it seems sometimes that everything else is put on the back burner? Man, when I met Jody, there were so many people that put stuff on there were so many things that she put on the back burner that she wanted to do. And now with her being in my life, I'm glad to tell her, baby, whatever you want to chase, whatever goals you want to chase them. Because she said to me, I want you to chase your dreams. I want you to chase your dreams. There was nothing I wouldn't do for her. There's nothing I wouldn't do for her, period. But I'll repeat the question that I posed earlier. How much does a man have to do? And is he allowed to rest? In many cases, he's not allowed to rest because just when you think he gets a chance to rest, there's more that he has to do. The brain never stops turning, the wheels never stop turning. The wheels never stop turning. They don't. Because, again, just when you think you've reached the mountaintop or a mountaintop, another mountain appears in front of you and you have to knock that one down. And subsequently, you have to knock the next one down, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. And finally, you get so tired that you don't want to chop any more mountains down. Boy, I've been there. A lot of men I know have been there with that one. They've been there. And that's the roughest thing. To be so exhausted, to be so out of sorts, to be at your breaking point and not realize you're at your breaking point. When does a man realize that he's at his breaking point? In many cases, mine included, he doesn't. Because we have been programmed to just suck it up and keep going. As men, in particular as black men, we have just been programmed to suck it up and keep going. Why? Because that's the programming that we have been given. That's the programming that we have been force fed. I'll say it again for those of us in the cheap seats at Old Chicago Stadium. And I will say this, I will say this very proudly. You know why a man never realizes when he's at his breaking point? Because he has broken his breaking point so many times. He has readjusted his breaking point so many times. He has readjusted his goals and everything that he wants to do so many times for someone that does not appreciate who he is. And quite frankly, as a man, I can say aloud, it ain't fair. It ain't fair. Like I said in the last chapter, it ain't fair that we have to remain silent. It ain't fair that we have to just back off. It ain't fair that we are not allowed to rest. And as my buddy Sick Diggy just said in the chat, it's more than just sleeping. You got to recharge, you got to regroup, you have to reset. When Jody and I went away last summer, boy, that was a week that we both needed to just reset, man. To just reset, to just, hell, reload. And I can honestly say the last 2 years have been hellacious. To be perfectly honest, the last 3 years have been hellacious because it all started with a diagnosis of blood clots for me. How much stuff can a man take in a short period of time and not be allowed to rest, recharge, and regroup and reset? How much more can a man take without having the opportunity to reset and reload? Is a man ever allowed to rest? In today's society, no, he isn't. And it's one of the most unfair things I have ever felt. It is, man. It's one of the most unfair things I've ever felt. It's one of the most unfair things I've ever experienced. As a man and as a black man, it's like you are constantly, I'll use a basketball reference, you are constantly running up and down the floor, uh getting no action in the play. Shot is missed, you have to retreat. Then that shot is missed on the defensive end and you're sprinting the other way, hoping to at least get a touch on the offensive end. Hoping to at least get a touch on the offensive end. And many times we don't. Many times we don't. You really want to know what the most unfair thing is? The most unfair thing is that when men scream, "Stop the ride, I want to get off," we're not allowed to. When we're told, let me catch my breath, we're never allowed to. When we're told, let me take a breather, we're never allowed to. Because just when you take a deep breath, something else comes up. And you have to deal with that situation. Then the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. And finally, you just say, screw this, I'm tired. And the moment that you show that you're tired, you're labeled as weak. You're labeled as soft. We aren't weak. We aren't soft. We're just tired. We want our rest too. We're just plain flipping tired. It's a constant, thank you, Victor. It's a constant full court press. When I say it's a constant full court press, I mean just that. Man, there were so many times. Y'all remember Donna, my baby girl who died when she was 2. And Bay, you said it, we have to keep up a brave face. I had to keep up a brave face when I lost Donna and I was going through the abuse that I was going through in the relationship that I was in. But the abuse honestly started before her 1 year birthday, when my mother and my sister constantly kept hammering at me saying, "Are you sure that she's yours?" I told my mother about Donna. I didn't get a congratulations from her. I certainly didn't get one from Nicole, my sister. Everybody else I called the day after Donna was born, March 2000. Donna was born March 6, 2013. The young lady who I was seeing at the time, Liz, told me, "Why don't you go back and clean the apartment and get it ready for us to come home with our baby girl?" I raced back to the apartment, raced the clock, and cleaned as much as I could so I can get back to the hospital and not be away from them. And I also spent that time not only exhausting myself to clean everything that I can for our arrival, I called everybody I knew. And except for one person, I got a congratulations from everybody. I got a congratulations from everybody except that one person. You know who that person was? The woman who technically at the time I was living with, and that was my mother. You know what I got from my mother? Are you going to be there for her? Are men ever allowed to rest and enjoy life and just be? No, they're not. They're not. The pressure is enormous. Being a man, and more to the point, being a black man. The pressure is beyond enormous being a black man in this country, knowing how society has pivoted once again in the 21st century. And it's this. Mm. And you're right, Bay. As an American black man, you are the villain. Yeah, we are the villain because of the stigma that we have, because of the predetermined stigmas that have been placed against us. We're not there for our children. We're not there for our families. We are unproductive. There's about 100 more I can think of because I've been told them all. Hell, my own mother, God rest her soul, called me a wannabe one night. A wannabe. At what point do us men keep going and going and going without rest until one day we don't take it anymore and we just go completely the fuck off? Or as a dear friend of mine says, and I'll borrow from her, at what point do we keep going without rest and that last chord snaps and we go teetotally the bloody fuck off? So many times we hit that wall, but we bounce up. We bounce back from it. We hit the wall again, even harder, and stand up. What's the old Nike commercial? Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Well, that 8 becomes 9, that 9 becomes 10, that 10 becomes 11, and the number keeps going up and up and up and up. And RC said it best just a minute ago. We either find a way to get through the fog or lost in it forever. And I know many a man that has been lost in it forever. Trust me. I was one of them several times. Several times I got lost in the fog. Several fucking times. And I cannot tell you to this day how the hell on some occasions I got through it. I honestly cannot tell you how. As men, we don't like drama. We don't like confrontation unless we absolutely have to deal with it. I saw it in my dad every day. Saw it in my dad every day. We keep finding ways to push through without dealing with what happened before. We keep finding ways to get through without dealing with what happened before. Do you know how much of a stack of a stack of cards that is, or of a house of cards that is? It's a house of cards, and it's gonna collapse. And when it collapses, when we're trying to just get our feelings out there and deal with everything that we've done before, that we've been through before, I beg your pardon. One or two people have to come along, point the finger and say, "See, he's always going to act like that under pressure." Really? Do you know how much has happened before this particular incident? I'll tell you a story. When I was dealing with my abusive relationship and the young lady I was with in 2015, her name is Jody Dials, and I'm no longer afraid to say her name. And if she threatens to come at me with a lawsuit, I fucking dare you. There was one week where she just kept pushing my buttons and pushing my buttons and pushing my buttons with everything that's going on. Everything. And each night I would drive from LaPorte back to Glenview dealing with the roommate that I was dealing with. And the next day I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get away from him, go hang out at Starbucks as long as I could before I have to go back and face him. Or I get a phone call from her and she wants me to come out and see her, to the point where one day she called me while I was en route and said, "I want to be the CEO of your company." I hung up and held every cuss word I wanted to spit out at that point because I didn't know what the hell I was doing or what the hell I was dealing with. Before I go any further, there are two reasons I'm doing this live stream. One, the subject hit me today. And two, I got a piece of bad news that my wife's favorite aunt has passed away. And I'm working on getting as much gas money as I can for us to get to Louisville and back and to get through the rest of the week. So if anyone can help while this is going, I truly appreciate it. I truly do. But during that same week where I was driving to and from Glenview, Illinois, I didn't know what the hell I was going to I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. More to the point, I didn't know how I was going to do anything. And then one day, while we were visiting a potential sponsor, because I was covering LaPorte High School at the time. I was covering LaPorte High School at the time. I was trying my best to be a professional and execute this sale. And she started in on me again and again and again and again and again and again. And finally, when we walked outside, I flipped. I flipped. And as soon as I flipped out, the moment, man, if I tried to hold it in, folks. I did. I tried to hold it in. I tried my ass off to hold it in. And it didn't work. One of the few times in my life I snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. I could not take it anymore. And as soon as I snapped, I get a finger pointed at me from her saying, "You have anger issues." Before I could say anything else, I hopped in my car and I drove away. I would have said some things. I would have said some things that would not have been worthy at the time. And I was so crossed up on what the hell was happening to me that I didn't know how to respond or how to act. I'm better now. Thank the Lord, I'm better now. But that day, that time, and many times before that, and a few times after that, many of them in North Carolina, I didn't know what the hell to do. Especially with some of the people we have been dealing with. Especially with some of the people we have been dealing with. It's like, wait, what? I don't understand how some people can think that men can just sit there and take it and take it and take it. Find ways to get through, yes. But holding on to everything that happened before. And before you know it, that backpack is so heavy, you fall down because you can't carry it anymore. You can't carry it anymore. Then what do? You reach out for help. You fall down and you're trying to get back up. You try desperately to get back up. Who's there for you, men, to help you get back up? Who's there for you, men, to help you get back up, to help you get back on your feet? Are men allowed to rest and recover and recharge? For the most part, the answer is no. And it's not fair at all. It's not fair. Many have asked me in my past why I watch sports so much, or cartoons, or old game shows. I hope this gives you a little glimpse. My wife gets it. My kids get it. My close friends get it. But there were some in my past that would think, is that all you do is watch sports or cartoons or whatever? Never bothering to ask the most important fundamental question: why? That is a way for me to rest and recover and reload. Like after my toe got amputated, I dove into my YouTube streams. I dove into my broadcasting. I dove back into my broadcasting, doing everything that I can. When I say everything, I mean just that, everything. Everything. And for the most part, to no success. Bandit Nation, welcome in. Are men allowed to rest? Especially with this, especially with me? No. What many people outside of this circle, outside of this manosphere, outside of my circle, my personal circle, what many of them don't understand, I have busted my ass for 28 years as a sportscaster. And I've done it the last 6 years being with Jody, the last 5 as a husband and a father. And there are days where I am happy. Don't get me wrong. There are days where I am happy this is happening. I really am. But then there are days where I feel nothing is ever going to take off. And you know where I see it the most? In my wife's eyes. And that hurts more than anything else. To see that in her eyes, and to be completely helpless. Men, let me ask you a question. And I want a response from people in the chat. Thank you, Keels. My question is this. How many times have you hit the wall, fell down, and just when you're ready to stand back up, something else happens and you wind up staying down? And I'll couple it with this question. When that is going on, you have people that look at you, point at you, laugh at you, saying, you're not a real man. Because if you're a real man, you'd stand up. Well, what if you can't stand up? What if you're so bogged down with things that have happened before that moment? What if you're so bogged down with things that you can't stand? How many things that have you gone through that have been so unfair? So unfair. It's so unfair. How many times, gentlemen, have you asked someone for help so you can rest, and the people you have asked for help from turn their back on you? You'll be all right. You'll get through this. How the fuck do you know? I'm going through something right now, wishing I could find a way, and I'm doing the best I can to help my wife. Being disabled blows. It blows. Sick Diggy says at times I would hear the laughter of my detractors in my head. It was that frustrating and overwhelming. Damn straight. Been there some days, still there. Boy, I understand that more than you know. My God, more than you know. When you hear those voices in your head, those detractors, when you hear those detractors' voices laughing in your head, how far does it break you down? And I couple it with this: who's there to pick you back up? Lately, for me, it's broken me down a lot, but Jody and my family has been there to pick me back up. And that's what I wish for every gentleman that's listening to this within the sound of my voice. God, I want y'all to hear this. Man, as I began this, are we allowed to rest? Are men allowed to rest? Mm-mm, they're not. It's not right and it's not fair. When before I met Jody, at the top of, or should I say in the middle of 2018, about a month before I met Jody, I put a post up on Facebook that said being homeless sucks. And it's a royal pain in the ass. And I never wish that on anyone. I never want a man to go through what I went through being homeless because it's not easy. Matter of fact, that's going to be my next chapter, but I'll give you a couple stories about that. I put a post up on Facebook that says, being homeless sucks. People rode to the rescue when I wrote that. Why can't that happen for men more often? I understand. Believe me, I understand that some people just cannot help at the time. I get it. Lord knows I get it. Because if I could help anybody if I could help any and every gentleman in the chat with something they're going through right now, I'd love to. I'd love to. I'm thankful I had a person drop me a cash app this morning when I announced on the show that my wife's aunt had passed away. Do I need more? Yeah, because we got to go to Louisville and I got to get my wife through the rest of the week. I'm going to try my ass off to do it. When y'all wake up in the morning, gentlemen, how many times, more often than not, do you wake up with a sense of dread, with a sense of, I don't want to do this shit today? You know why that happens a lot? And I can speak from experience, and I know Shane can speak from experience. Victor can speak from experience. Hell, um, every gentleman in this chat can speak from experience. You know why more often than not men wake up with a sense of dread instead of a sense of hope? Because the hope was pulled away. The rug was pulled out from under them. The rug of hope was yanked out from under them. You know how uneasy that is? Do you know what you have to you know how far down of a fall that is? You know how far down of a fall that is? And Shane, I know about the homeless struggle you had. I had it for 2.5 years. And that was just the latest stint. When are some people gonna take a chance on men and help so they won't be so tired? So they won't be struggling so much, so they won't feel hopeless and helpless. Because that's about all they want us to feel right now. Hopeless and helpless. I'm going to be the first one to say it, but I'll say it. I refuse to feel hopeless and helpless. And god damn, it's a struggle when I say that to myself. But saying it aloud is the best thing. Saying it aloud is the best thing. Society wants men to feel homeless, helpless, and worn out. Society wants men to feel homeless. Excuse me. Society wants men homeless. That's not that's obvious. Go to Chicago, tour downtown on Roosevelt Road. Y'all will see what I'm talking about. Society wants men to feel hopeless, helpless, and defeated. Hopeless, helpless, and defeated. And you're right, babe. If I don't get it off my chest a piece at a time, the hostage negotiator will be outside my door, falling down with Michael Douglas. Anyone? I refuse to be that way. But I can tell you, some days it's a struggle and a half to be there. It's a struggle and a half. Continue to try, continue to push through. All I can offer are words right now, gentlemen, but I can offer this while I'm taking a chance in doing this audio diary and letting quite a few things out about myself and about society and how I feel, where men will understand. It's just like I said, Jody raced the clock and saved my life 3 separate times. From this amputation, from pancreatic cancer, and meeting me in person. Just saying, I don't know you, but I need you. That was what she said. That was what she said to me that one day. That one day we met in 2018. I don't know you, but I need you. That gave me a lot of hope. Gave me a lot of hope. Man, there are days where I see her and the exhaustion on her face, and the exhaustion in her eyes, in her body language. And I just feel completely helpless because I feel like I can't do anything. But she keeps giving me a vote of confidence saying, you're doing all that you can. And I appreciate that. To have someone say to me that they appreciate everything I'm doing, even though I'm limited, saying thanks, Bay, is an understatement. Sometimes thank you is not enough for what she's done for me these last 6 years. Sometimes a thank you and a kiss on the lips ain't enough for what she's done for me these last 6 years. How much internal pain do we have to go through? And thank you, RC, for that. How much internal pain do we have to suffer through? How much internal pain do we have to go through before we are finally allowed to rest? And if you want to think about something really crazy, we're not allowed to rest until we're dead, which brings the common joke to mind. I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. Fuck that. Fuck all of that. It ain't damn fair. It ain't damn fair. I'll say it and I'll continue to say it because it's the truth. What men go through ain't damn fair. Totally understand the feeling of feeling underwater. Yeah, I feel like we're underwater right now. And as much as we try to paddle to shore, something else happens. And who am I including in this? My family. And it pisses me off. How much more do we have to toil? How many more bells do we have to toll for before we actually get a fucking break. When I started this, someone challenged me. When I started Diary of a Mad Snowman, Charles Faulkner gave me the idea, and he gave me a few chapters to work on. And I knew I wouldn't be able to write this, but because to be able to sit down and write all this out would take a lot of time, and I had a lot on my chest. So I'm using what I know best, my microphone, to get all this out. I had someone challenge me when I said up front the two reasons I'm doing this. A, it's for therapy, and B, to try to make an income doing this. I said this up front. And I immediately got challenged saying, "Oh, that won't happen. How do we know you went through all this?" Motherfucker, take a look, will you please? I was sad for a long time, 2.5 years, when I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I thought I would never, ever, ever get through that. I thought that was a death sentence. Hell, Duke University Hospital said as much. My friend Nia says if we let the world bring down men, then they succeed in breaking humanity. We see you and we feel with you. Society can suck it. That BS of being a man makes you all think you're not allowed rest. Absolutely right. And some days I feel I'm not allowed to rest. My wife's busting her ass at work right now. Daughter doing the same thing. And I got to tell y'all, when I sign off the air at 1 in the afternoon, I have a few moments where I feel like, what the fuck am I doing? How am I doing this? Why am I not out there fighting my ass off? As it turns out, I've gotten a slow feeling back that I am. And I say slow because I'll say it again, I have my days. I have my days where I feel like I can't rest. It's two things. It's not only not being allowed to rest, it's the feeling that I can't rest. Not until we get to the next level where we want to go. And I have something to say about it and something to do with it. That's the biggest thing I'm fighting right now. As a man who has fought off pancreatic cancer and won, who has survived an amputation of his right toe, and is only blessed with a microphone in front of him as his weapon to help his family, there are days I feel I don't deserve any of this. And you're right, RC. There are some days where the only time I don't feel pain is when I'm sleeping. I look at Jody next to me, and again, I see the exhaustion in her eyes. I see the exhaustion on her face. And quite frankly, there are moments where I panic. And I tell her all the time, I'm doing the best I can. And she totally understands. She totally understands. She totally gets me. That's what men need, a friend that totally gets them. And you know what else men need right now? Friends that offer no damn judgment. Constructive criticism? Yes. Hard truth? Yes. Judgment? No. Men don't need that. We've been judged all our life. We have been judged all our lives, and it's bullshit. is bullshit. And it needs to quit. Will it ever? Probably not. Well, if I'm the first one to be foolish enough to think that it needs to quit, then damn it, I am that fool. I don't care anymore. I am 51 years old, 50, gonna be 52 in July. Every year I'm here, I'm celebrating more and more. Doing this lets out a lot of pain and allows me to identify with men that I know and men that I don't know. How much pain we feel, we have, we keep, how much pain we are forced to keep. I said it. How much pain we are forced to keep. You know why I feel we're forced to keep that pain? Because very few people in a man's life give 2/5 of a half of a damn. That's why. I'm not even going to qualify it by saying that's only my opinion. I am speaking from experience. I am an advocate for men's rights, and I will continue to be. I am an advocate for fatherhood, now being a father and a grandfather, and I will continue to be. A lot of days, as Richard Pryor said, of not giving a fuck, and you miss half of your life. Where is the help for men? Where is the loving arms of society for men? RC, I totally understand. Day I met Jody, I made the decision that that was it. Fuck it, I'm done. Very few people know this. I'll say it here and I'll say it out loud. July 18th, 2018, the day I met Jody, I made the decision that I was done. I said, fuck it. No one will miss me if I'm gone. I literally said that out loud. It was a rainy day in Michigan City, Indiana. It was a rainy day in Michigan City, humid as fuck. That afternoon, I got a message from her. That afternoon, we met online. She sent me a message. And it's like, I'll say it again. It's like, I don't know you, but I need you. Are men allowed to rest? No. No. It's like I said, that day, July 18th, 2018, I said, fuck it, I'm done. And Nia just said a moment ago, the unrealistic standards are off the frickin' charts. They're off the charts. And I fucking hate it. That's why I want to be one of the men that does something about it. One of many. You know that Million Man March they put together? I want to do something like that. But helping out men who are right on the edge. I do my best to support my husband and teach my boys it's okay to have feelings and emotions and express yourself. It is okay. It's what I'm doing here. It is okay. You know how many times I was told it wasn't okay? And I know every man in the chat can just identify with what I just said. Do you know how many times I was told it was not okay to have feelings and emotions? Oh, you're showing your emotions. You're soft. No, you're real. You're a man. You're real. You're absolutely real. Yeah, you have feelings. Yeah, you have emotions. Doesn't everybody? How come men are not allowed to express them more often than what they do now? Why are we not allowed to express our feelings and emotions and get that rest? You know what rest is? Getting this out. And Nia Jody saved my life. Because as I said, July 18th of 2018, I said, screw it. And I was done. And then she sent me that message. She threw out that lifeline in the nick of time. Seriously. That's why I often play that song by Brian McKnight for her back at one, because I literally believe, and I will continue to believe until I go home to God, that she threw that lifeline out before I stepped off the cliff. I was lonely. I was homeless. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, why the hell I was doing it. And at that point in time, I didn't care. I was talking with my doctor this morning, and she asked me how's everything going with the medicines. I said the medicines are doing great, and I'm dealing with it better because I finally used the word amputation myself. But when you spoke it to me, and I want to shout out Dr. Rebecca Payton for what she did for me this morning, which is just listen. And one of the few times Jody was not able to accompany me because she had to go to work early this morning. Man, when I told Dr. Payton that when you said the word amputation, it knocked me sideways, I thought she was going to faint. And I repeated it again, and she apologized from the heart. And I felt every word of her apology. And she also said to me, thank you. She also said to me to complete the triple play, I will learn from this. You know how rare it is for a man to get that kind of triple play from someone he trusts? You know how rare of a triple play that is for men to get? Once again, do you know how rare of a triple play that is to get from someone you trust? And I trust everybody at Franciscan Health Care. I mean, hell, had Jody not introduced me to them, I wouldn't be here because Duke University told her on November 29th of 2021 to put me in a goddamn box. Go home, get your affairs in order. There's nothing we can do. And this is after 3 months of chemotherapy. This is after 3 months of oral chemotherapy. And I was so damn fogged out, we had to make some changes in the house because I was making some stupid decisions. I'll say it out loud. I was making some stupid decisions. And at the time, I was so fogged out, I didn't realize how much it was affecting my family. You know where it starts, man? When someone believes, when someone believes you and believes in you. Let me say that again. And if y'all can support me with a Cash App donation to the tag you see on your screen, $ tall man Dr. K50, I would appreciate it because we got to go to Louisville tomorrow because her favorite aunt passed away and I want to be there for her. You know where the repair starts for men? When you are told to your face and someone looks you in the eye and say, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. You know how huge that is? You know how huge that is? Let me say it again. For those of us in the cheap seats at the old fabulous forum in Inglewood, California, the repair for men in this society begins when someone looks them in the eye, gives them a hug, or holds their hand and says, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. How about them apples? I'll say it again, and I got tears in my eyes. The repair in this society for men who have busted their ass and done everything they can without the proper amount of rest, physical, mental, emotional. The repair begins when they are told to their face and to their heart and to their soul, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. I'm going to keep saying it and hammer home this message because it's the truth. When Jody told me, chase your dreams, Jody told me, I want you to chase your dream. She says that to me every day, and she said it to me for the last 6 years. You know how appreciative I am of her? And I said, I tell her every day, thank you for believing in me. She says, you make it easy. She said, you make it easy for me to believe in you. And I believe in her just as fiercely, if not more, as she believes in me. Because there are some goals she wants to reach. She wants to officially be Dr. K. I'm like, baby, go get it. She said it. She said, go get it. The repair begins when a man is told to his heart and his soul and his eyes are looked into, when one person begins a chain reaction of saying, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Period. Somebody write that in the chat for me. Let me take a page out of Dr. Faulkner's book. And happy birthday to you, Charles Faulkner. You mean let me do this. Let me do this. Dr. Faulkner, I love you, brother, and you mean the world to me. I'm going to take a page out of your book while I'm doing this and say something that I've said for the past 10 minutes that I want someone to write in the chat for me, because I'm damn sure going to put it on a t-shirt. The repair for men begins when they are told to, when they are, let me try again. The repair for men begins when someone looks in their eyes and tells their heart, their soul, and their being, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. One of the first things Jody ever said to me is, I believe in you. She's been my producer for my radio show. She's been my in-booth producer when I do games. And man, when we get the hell out of here and start doing the stadium tour, or we find somewhere to land for a couple of years and get everything straight. She said, I'm waiting for you to get back in the booth. I said, baby, that comes with a condition. She says, what's that? You join me. And she said, do you even have to ask? Do you even have to ask? Man, I will tell you right now, the next chapter, I'm going to brag on Jody even more. And yeah, Bub, Jody is getting them flowers today. Today and every day from me. I text her every day at work and I tell her I love her. She's been ride or die for me since day one, since we met September 6th, 2018. Come on, y'all. If y'all can help a snowman with some cash app so we can get to Louisville tomorrow and I can get her through the rest of the week. Please. I'm begging y'all. I'm begging y'all for some help because I want to get her through. And in a quasi kind of way, this is all about Jody. Because let me be the beacon of examples that when someone tells you, not only do I believe you, I believe in you, that person is yours and vice versa. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. That starts the repair physically, mentally, and emotionally for men in this society. That starts it. Why do I believe that so fiercely? because it was told to me, and I've told a few men that myself. I've told every man in this chat that phrase, and I mean every single word of it. You know why men aren't allowed to express their emotions? Fear. The only emotion they're allowed to express is fear. And the fear comes in that they're going to get laughed at, finger pointed at when they do express their emotions, when they do get to a point where they go completely off. Even they don't even have to go completely off. They just have to get to a point where they're just plain tired. And once they get plain tired, guess what? The finger pointing starts from everybody else except the people who are in that circle that knows what he's gone through. Period. This gotta quit. This gotta quit. Thank you, Bub. Thank you, King Bub. I appreciate you. I consider this audio diary a lot of therapy. I consider it therapy because it gives me a chance to really be myself. Y'all hear me on the morning show, and I'm joking around 99.9% of the time there, making people laugh and having fun. But this is a part of me too. And I want the men to know and to realize. I want the men, let me say it again. I want the men to know and to realize, if nothing else, old snowman's here for you. If nothing else, old snowman's here for you. Whether you need a kind word or a laugh, maybe an argument about a sports subject where we can laugh together, I don't know. What we need to do is just start communicating and saying it real. Just say it real. In many cases, we're not allowed to, because if the word gets out in the society that we were keeping it real with each other, we're pointed at as villains. Hell, Bay said it earlier today. We're already the villains. We got to embrace it. And I am inclined to believe that he's totally right. They already made us out. They already made us out to be villains, even though we're not. Even though we're not. We're not villains. We're people. We're not villains. Okay? We've just been made out to be villains. We've just been made out to be cavemen in this 21st century society. That's one reason we're not allowed to rest. We're repairing our image. And it's a lot to repair because it's been blown to smithereens, annoyed, destroyed, and folks on the outside enjoy the destruction. With us coming together, we just got to tell them, quit that shit. Thank you, Jody, for that phrase. And you know what the craziest thing is? When a movement, And yeah, I'm calling this a movement. When a movement like this happens, that is pure and from the heart, someone wants to intercept it. I'll say it again. When a movement like this to unify men, no matter what race, color, creed, religion, or whatever, is started to unify men, get them all in a circle and say, hey, we are enough. Someone wants to pick it off. Meanwhile, you get a farce of a movement like Black Lives Matter. Oops, did I say that aloud? Meanwhile, you get a farce of a movement like Black Lives Matter, and they get all the funding in the world. The hell is wrong with that? What the hell is wrong with that picture? That's right, Nia. 15 years we've known each other. And boy, we have laughed our asses off for 15 years. When the hearts are pure for men and they express what they want to do, what usually happens? And I say usually because I want to start a chain reaction that changes that. What usually happens? They get laughed at. They get a finger pointed at them. And this should really piss some men off. They're told, "Oh, you don't really mean that." Oh no. I spoke aloud that I'm going to be a billionaire within 2 years. I'm out and about today and somebody, "Oh, you don't really mean that." Oh no. Oh, I don't, eh? What makes you say that aloud? I've known Bubby Lewis since 2010 at Trinity International. Called his name out quite a few times during games. Been brothers since then. Known Victor since 2000. Those are the kind of friendships I keep with me. Those are the kind of friendships I'm going to keep. Some of the most unfair things have happened to men. Some of the most unfair things have happened to me. I already told the story of when I got abused in 2015, went to the LaPorte Police Department and they laughed in my face. Man, let me pose a question. How many times have you gone somewhere just for a little bit of help and you got laughed at? And you got laughed at out loud. Out loud. I'm glad I did this today. And I believe that unless I have a baseball game, I think this is the time I'll come on with the diary each and every day. I can make a book out of this just from the last 2 years alone. Was called a nerd growing up. Was called weird. I embrace both of those titles. I embrace them both. Why? Because it's who I am. When a man is told, once again, not only do I believe you, but I believe in you. You know how much strength that gives a man to hear that from just one person and them continuing to stand on those words. That's the key. Standing on those words. Standing on those words. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Should be a mantra for men going forward. Tell a man you care about. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Watch what kind of strength that gives them. Watch this. Watch what kind of strength that gives them. And while I'm making that point, let me make this one in the form of a question. How many times have you seen with men the repair begin just with something like that alone? A handshake, a hug, a chat, a laugh. And someone tried to pick it off because they don't want to see men happy. I said it. They don't want to see men happy and joyful. What did Dr. Dre said? What did Dr. Dre say in one of his songs? They'd rather see us dead or enslave us. No more. No fucking more. No more. I'm telling everyone in here, within the sound of my voice, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Period. Period. Are we allowed to rest? No, we're not. Are we going to get our rest? Fucking right we are. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Think of how powerful that phrase is. Think of how powerful that is, man. I'll say it again. Not only do I believe you, I believe in you. That's what people say to me, the ones who really stick around with me, because I am tired of seeing men get the shaft. I'm tired of seeing strong, decent men get the goddamn shaft. I'm tired of seeing decent men like the ones in this chat get the goddamn shaft all the time. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. When you see a man that's struggling, tell him you appreciate him. Tell him you're there for him. It might be from a distance, but tell him you're there for him. I tell mine, I see you and I appreciate you. So I tell you now, I see you, Snowman, and I appreciate you. I believed in you since day one. You got this. You're destined for great things. Thank you, Nia. See, those words right there from one person can give you all the strength that you need to get through. Strong words like that. And I receive every single one of those words, my dear. I receive and feel every one of those words. Every one of them. Because those are words that we need, that men need. Those are words that are needed to be thrown around like a fastball from Jose Contreras and a forkball from Nolan Ryan. Throw them around, use them a lot, and mean them. Just mean them. Just say it and mean them. And you're right, Shane. The Dark Knight put us together for a reason. The Dark Knight put us together in 2014 for a reason. Almost everyone in here, I love you all. I mean, let me say it. Let me just say this. I love you all very, very dearly for believing in me and this project. Not to mention Snowman Multimedia. I may not have met all of y'all in person, but in a way I have. I love every single one of you guys for just believing in this, for just being here listening, for just knowing me. That starts it. For allowing me to brag on my wife Jody and my children, Sonia, Dakota, Cheyenne, all my grandchildren. When I had cancer, and I announced it, you know how many people rallied to our side? And I say our because I include my friend, I include my family. I always include my family. Breaking the cycle is hard and it will be done. Not can, will. I had planned to do LSU in Iowa tonight, but getting all this out and knowing I have to leave early in the morning for my wife and I to go to Louisville and still need a couple of more cash apps so we can take care of the week. So if anyone else can help, I would appreciate it. But a lot's come off my chest. I appreciate y'all listening. And I tried to stay on topic as best as I can. And I know I've hopped all over the place, but there was no judgment here. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys more than you know. For me to do something like this, and I'm launching a sports show in the fall. So this one, I'll have this one, I'll have this diary, I'll have Snowman in the morning, which is going to move to an earlier time pending some circumstances. And I'm going to have the sports forum in the afternoon. It'll be afternoon or early evening. My wife said, go for it. She said, your sports shows are going to make you the millions. Fuck it. Let's get it. Fuck all of it. Fuck all of it, man. I got a homework assignment for you guys. Think of a goal that no one, no, no, no. Try that again. Think of a goal Think of a goal that many people in your life, change that word, most people in your life thought ridiculous. Think of a goal that many people in your life laughed at you about. And think of the reasons that they laughed at you. And then write that goal down, put it somewhere safe, and each day look at it. And then you'll start to answer the question, what am I doing toward it? Think of an an absolutely ridiculous goal that I've set aloud. Then I'm going to be a billionaire in 2 years. And a lot of people are going to get some help from me that have been there for me and with me. You want another ridiculous goal that I've set aloud? We're going to be in New Orleans on Radio Row during Super Bowl week in 2025. I had planned that for Vegas, but I got sick, dealing with kidney failure in the process of reversing that, and my toe got amputated. And I'm still standing. Well, sitting in this case because I'm sitting in a chair. But think of a goal that many people thought ridiculous. Write it down, speak it aloud, and keep it. I'm 51 and people tell me all the time, "Oh, You can't do that. You can't make $1 billion in 2 years. Fucking watch me. Fucking watch me. I have a simple philosophy. Dream big, do bigger. I always say at the end of my morning show, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. And now that I'm on the right medicines and on the right path, and I have this as my therapy, I believe it more than ever, each and every day. And for those who don't believe it, that want to stay outside the circle, my response is simple. Fuck a whole lot of y'all. Because I'm tired. Everybody that has been in the chat with me and listening to me do this, they're tired also. They're tired. You understand me? We are tired and we're pissed off at society. Pissed the fuck off. And that's what we're telling society to do. Fuck off. You just get tired. You just get tired, man. Doesn't matter why, just know that it happens. And man, we have to tell each other, not only do I believe you, I believe in you. Period. Watch how much strength that puts back into men and into society. Watch. Just watch. This has been Diary of a Mad Snowman with yours truly, Brian Snow, aka the Snowman, and I want to thank Kyle Senra, Bubby Lewis, and Victor Locke for contributing. And before I get out of here, I'll say it again. We have to go to Louisville tomorrow. My Cash App is in the chat and it's on screen. And if anybody else can help out with some gas money so we can get to and from, that will be awesome. And I'll find a way to pay it forward and help people that need it, because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with the stadium tour. That's what I want to do with my company. And being a member of the cancer community as a survivor, that's where I want to hit it. That's where I want to hit it. That's my goal, Nia. I told Jody we're going to New Orleans to be on Radio Row during Super Bowl 59. Doesn't matter who's playing. We're going to be there. Let me thank y'all for allowing me to do this. This is going to become a daily habit. What I'm going to do for the rest of the night is just get ready to go to Louisville. I'm not going to do the Iowa game, although I know it's going to draw a big audience. But I know I will be drawing big audiences soon. Anybody want to sponsor the channel or sponsor Snowman Multimedia? Drop me an email. snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com. Diary of a Mad Snowman returns tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to brag about my wife, Jody, when we get back from Louisville. God bless y'all. So long, everybody.